So thought coaching is totally different than business coaching. And this is something that I've been stressed about, trying to find a way to, like, I got this little like headset that has like a microphone. And I thought every time I'm thought coaching, I'll wear this so that you guys know you're talking to thought coaching Emily, not business coach Emily, right? Because business coach Emily is going to be like, send more messages, post twice a day, twice a week about Plexus, the rest about personal. Business coach Emily's like, this is where you went wrong in your messaging. This is where your gap is. This is where your goal is. This is how many people you need to sponsor. This is what you need to do. Right. And then thought coaching Emily, eventually when I learned how to use this thing, is like, let's see what your brain is doing and ask it a ton of questions that challenge it so we can see what your brain is thinking and doing. And we can decide if it's serving you or not serving you, and how to process the feelings you get around all of that. Okay. So this is like, I hope that you guys fall in love with it as much as I have. It's just totally different. Okay. So the more you get on calls like this with me, the more that you watch other people be coached, the more you sign up for coaching, the more you'll understand how awesome this work is. Okay. So that's what I just want to share that passion that I have found with all of you. And so it can maybe change your life like it's changed my life. Okay. But it's like, not like a one and done thing, right? So this is not like, people have not signed up ahead of time to be coached on this call. So if you look at, where is it? On the bottom of the screen where it says raise hand. Do you guys see you guys know how to do that? Where you can like raise your hand with like a little thing. Oh, so it's like where the reactions are, and then you can click raise hand and it will put like a little hand up in the corner. So if you want to be coached, put the little raise hand. And if you don't know what to be coached on, I've got you. So you don't even have to come prepared ever. Like you don't have to ever have something planned, because I have things that I can help you with. And we can find things for you to be coached on that you don't even realize you need to be coached on. Okay. So you don't ever have to like come prepared or anything. But if you do have something that you're like, I need to be coached on this, like what I do for my coaching program is I have like all of these pages. I'll show you what they look like, where the model, and I'll talk about this just because this is our first time together, right? I know some of you know what the model is, and then others of you are like, I don't know what you're talking about. So this is what we call the model, CTFAR. The C stands for circumstance. The T is thought. The F is feeling. The A is action, and the R is the result, right? So anything that you ever experience in your life can be put into the model, and we can figure out where it fits into the model. And then it allows us to like look at your brain and figure out where your brain's at with it. Okay. So anytime that I like have a thought, because for me, one of the things that I struggled with in the beginning was having awareness for my thoughts. And I was like, I don't know what I'm thinking. Like, I don't even know what to be coached on. Like, I'm like, my brain is nothing right now. Like, there's nothing there. I don't know what my thoughts are. I just know that I have problems and I don't know what they are. Right. And so now whenever I have a thought, I actually like go to my blank pages and I like write them in there. Just like, I just write thoughts in my T line. And then later on, I'll go back to them and I'll try and fill out, like once a day, I try to do a model on myself once a day. And sometimes I'm like, question mark, I don't even know, like question mark, question mark, question mark. And then I'll run a new model that's like, I'm not finding my thought is in my action line or my result line, not finding my thought, right? That's like, we're not, we'll get into that later. But essentially, like I just write thoughts down anytime I have them now, because I'm like, ooh, perfect. One less thing to worry about, which is a thought, right? But like, it's so cool because when you start having awareness for what your thoughts are, then you'll get better and better and better at noticing what's a thought, what's a feeling, and what results it's giving in your life, right? Okay. So I'm going to take notes while I coach you guys. And I'm also not always we're not always gonna like find resolution and solve the problem, because that was one of the other things that was sort of challenging to me is like, I like to fix the problem, right? Like you come to me for business coaching and I'm like, I can totally fix it for you. I know exactly where you're going wrong. In Send, Share, and Bite, I can tell you what you need to fix, like fix it, right? But in thought coaching, the most powerful thing that you can do is learn to process your emotion and your feeling in any situation and not try to fix it. Because it's in processing the emotion, allowing the emotion without reacting to it, that gives you your power back. And we'll talk about all of that and you'll see me do this. And if you're confused, don't worry, I've got you. Okay. Like it's not going to be complicated for you because you get to be the client and it's awesome. Okay. So I am going to coach Shannon first. Shannon, can you unmute yourself?
Yep.
We're just going to get started. Okay, Shannon, what can I help you with?
Okay, so what I would like to get better at is my time management and sticking to a schedule. So I'm sure some of my thoughts are probably the reason why I don't stick to a schedule, even when I try to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like put other things in front of what I wrote down I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would like to help with.
So can you tell me like a recent time where you have thought something about, like a recent time where you're trying to do something with your time management or sticking to a schedule, and can you explain it to me? Like when's the last time that you had a problem with this or you struggled with this?
Well, even today, like most days. So the main thing that I don't do, you'll love this, is my IPA.
Uh-huh.
And I have it in my calendar to do it from like 2:30 to 3:30. Or I think with Leah, we just changed our schedule a little bit. But I always am just like, oh, I know it's IPA time, but I've got to run this errand, or I've got to switch out laundry, or oh, my daughter just got home from work. I need to visit with her for a minute. And I keep putting other things in front of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, but you have like a list of things to do each day, or do you make a list, or what does that look like when you said sticking to a schedule? Is there a certain schedule that you write out, or tell me more about that?
Yeah. So it's been like, how long have I been with you? Like 4 years? It's been like 4 years that I have been trying to get myself to use a planner, as you recommend. And so I'll write it down. So in the summer, my schedule is very loose. But obviously during the school year, things are a little bit more, like during the summer, I don't work my other job regularly, just here and there. During the school year, I work every school day. So my schedule will be like, I teach seminary in the morning, I come home, have breakfast, get my nephew ready for school if it's a day I'm taking him, get ready for work myself, go to work until 1, come home, have a late lunch with my husband, And then on my schedule, it says do IPA next. But then usually I'm like, oh, maybe I'll take a nap, or maybe I'll start laundry, or, anything random that comes up.
Mhm.
And I just don't, so I stick with the things I have to be somewhere else, my other job and teaching seminary. But when I'm home, I'm just kind of like, that can be switched around, or I'll just do dishes first, but then I just never get to it. So when I'm at home, I don't stick to what I put in my planner that's my goal.
So you have a schedule every day. Sometimes it's different, but you have a schedule that you set every single day.
I have certain things that I assign like a time to, because when I don't do it. But yeah, I mean, so like my summer days is pretty open. I get up and go hiking with a friend in the morning. And then other than that, I don't really have anything else in my schedule except book club and IPA.
And do you write it down?
So,
I know you said you don't use a planner, but it almost sounds like is it just a schedule in your mind, or are you writing it down somewhere? Like, how do you know that you have these things that you are going to do?
I did write it down this time. So, sorry, I do have a planner.
Okay.
And I did write them down, but I don't always. So,
Okay.
like, I will sit down with my planner and do like several weeks at a time, or I'll put things in my phone on that calendar also.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do put some things in my calendar, and sometimes I put it in my planner. So that's my effort in trying to get more organized, is like, if I write it down and put it in my planner, maybe I'll actually do it.
Okay. And so when you think about the things that you like, the schedule of things that you want to do on any given day, what is your thought about them?
That I need to do it, even if I don't want to.
Okay. And when you think about like, is an IPA is something that you want to get better at doing, or tell me more about that?
Yeah, I do want to get better at doing it. And I also want to be a better customer service person, I guess, for my people.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like I lacked a lot on the follow-up that I feel like I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is something that I want to get better at, but I don't enjoy the actual doing it.
Okay. So you have a business with Plexus, and
Right.
your thought is, I don't enjoy doing it. Is that correct? Or
Well, I guess I relate IPA to sending messages, and I kind of read that.
okay, so I dread sending messages.
Yeah.
And when do you have that thought most often? Like, when's an example of the last time that you had the thought, I dread sending messages?
Probably when I looked at my planner and I'm like, oh, I was supposed to do IPA at 2:00. I don't really want to do that right now.
Okay. So you like see it written down in your planner, or just as an example of that was something that happened today?
Well, yes, I did skip over it today.
You had it written down in there today. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see your Plexus work in your planner written down.
Mm-hmm.
And your thought is, I dread sending messages.
Yeah. Or just I don't feel like doing that right now.
I don't feel like sending messages right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which one? When you see Plexus work in your planner written down, which thought comes up first?
The main thought is like, oh, I don't want to do that right now. I'll
Okay.
come back to that later.
I don't want to do that. Okay. And then what feeling comes up for you? Just a one word emotion, right? What feeling comes up when you think, I don't want to do that?
Kind of like, I guess, kind of relief that I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or,
"Whew,
okay.
I'm not doing it."
So
But
I think relief can come when you don't do it, right? The relief is coming when you're not doing it. But what's the feeling you get when you think, I don't want to do that? Like before you take the action of not doing it, you think, I don't want to do that. And what feeling do you have?
I think I feel maybe just unsure, like, kind of like, I don't know, maybe dread is the right word, but almost like lost, like I don't feel sure of what I'm gonna say to people. And so that's why I'm like, I don't really, maybe hesitant would be word. I don't know.
Well, because you keep coming back to like, I dread sending messages, right?
Yeah.
So when you think I dread sending messages, does unsure come up or does a different emotion come up? I dread sending messages.
Is dread an emotion? Does that count?
Fear.
Okay, let's go with fear.
Fear, okay. And when you feel fear, you don't do your IPA,
Right.
right? You just skip it. You just don't do it. And then that's when like the relief comes, right?
Right.
And then you're like, you run errands, you do laundry, you visit daughter. And those
Right.
things are what we call buffering, right? Buffering is just something that we do to avoid feeling negative emotion, right? Like we buffer to avoid negative emotion. So you have your plexus work, you you see your plexus work in your schedule and you think, I dread sending messages. You feel fear. And then we know you don't do your IPA. You do run errands, throw a load of laundry, visit with your daughter. Is there anything else that you do?
Yeah, sometimes I just like watch TV with my husband or um that's about it.
Watch
Once
TV.
in a while I'll do this.
Is there anything else that you don't do? Anything you avoid?
Um well, yeah. Sometimes I avoid reading my book club book.
Okay. But when you think I dread sending messages, is there anything else you avoid doing?
Oh, as far as like business work
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
I kind of just I kind of just put all of it aside and don't do most of it, but I will do like birthdays and um, post, post on social media. So I'll do that part of IPA, but not always at the times where I have scheduled to sit down and do it.
Will you make a post instead of send a message?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, will you go and like engage with the team chats instead of sending messages?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's not always at that time. Like I won't necessarily sit down to work like doing a job at my desk. You know, it might be like a different time of day.
Okay. And then what does that give you? Like, what's the result? Like, what comes from all of that?
Then I feel bad about not doing a better job.
Then we're like into another model, right? Because then we're having a thought about what we did or didn't do or what we should or shouldn't do, right? So that's like,
yeah.
that's like advanced, right? Because you have like a model on top of a model in that situation, right? Because you're like, so I buffered with all these things, and that's how we know that you're buffering, because when you buffer, then you feel worse after, right? And let me sort of describe, let me show a little for my visual people here. This really helps me to like look at it in this way. But so we know that life is 50-50, right? 50% positive, 50% negative. And we feel like it should probably be like 95% positive and 5% negative. We're like, yeah, I can positive think my way into a more positive life, when really it's just always going to be 50-50. And so our positive emotions are like, oh my gosh, I'm connecting with my daughter. This is so nice, right? But our fear that you felt is here, and guilt that you mentioned is here. And when we avoid feeling the fear, we buffer. This is where we buffer over here. This is buffering. I should get a bigger whiteboard so you could actually see what I'm writing. So this is where we buffer. This is where we are doing laundry. We are posting on social media. We're watching TV with our husband. We're running errands, right? And we're like, we think that by doing these actions that we're over here. We're like, yeah, I'm doing laundry. This feels so good. Watching a show with my husband. I'm feeling so good. And the way that we know we're buffering is at the end of the day, we feel guilty for doing those things. We're like, oh, should have done my IPA, right? And so in order to get back here, we have to walk through the river of misery. How Christy refers to it as the swamp, right? You've heard Christy call it the swamp to get to the castle, right? And so, but we think when we buffer, we think we're going this way, but actually we're going this way. We're getting further from positive emotion. We're going the wrong way. And our brain is just tricked. It's just tricking our brain into false pleasure, right? And sure, some of the things were like, no, I actually really enjoyed the movie. Like it was great. I enjoyed it. But it's the feeling you got after that it gave you a negative result. It gave you a negative feeling. So we know you buffered with it, right? It's sort of like if you have, if you like, for example, during COVID, at the end of the day, I found myself eating peanut butter and chocolate chips and watching Netflix for like 3 hours every night. And I was like, this is what I need right now. And feels so good. This is totally what I need. And it's just going to be my little secret with me and my couch, and nobody's going to see it. And then every single morning I'd be like, I'm not going to do that again tonight. Like I feel so awful. Like I'm puffy, my hands ache. Like, why did I do that? I feel like crap this morning. Right. And so I'd be like, I'm not going to do it tonight. And then every night I get that urge that like I had to have it or I would die. Had to, right? And then I went to Gold Retreat and I saw pictures of myself and I was like, nope. nope, that's not what I'm going to be doing anymore. And for like 2 months, every single night I had the urge to eat the peanut butter and chocolate chips. And I just was uncomfortable feeling it. I was like, yep, gonna die if I don't get it. 100%, I'm dying tonight in my sleep because I am not getting my peanut butter and chocolate chips. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And this feels awful. And I'm probably gonna die in my sleep. And Sean's gonna wake up to me dead in the bed. Like that's what my caveman brain was literally telling me. And it was like this urge that was just like, sometimes I'd even walk out to the kitchen and like take laps around the island. Cause I'd be like, yep, just feeling the need to have my peanut butter and chocolate chips. And I'm like, nope, 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 not gonna do it. Nope, nope, just taking laps around, laps around, laps around, right? And then I go back to bed and I go to sleep. And after like a couple months of that, I don't even have the urge anymore. It's gone. Because I fought it I just like allowed the urge for so long that I just let it go. So why do I bring up this story for you, Shannon? Because it's when we have the urge to do something else to avoid the feeling, our prefrontal brain, right? This is like our really advanced brain. We have our primitive caveman brain that has all of our urges and it thinks we're going to die if we don't live them out. And then we have our prefrontal lobe. And our prefrontal lobe is the one that makes all the decisions. It decides if we put the cookie in the mouth. It decides if we go do laundry instead of our IPA. It decides if we're going to, it decides everything that we take action on. And it takes action from feeling, right? But it ultimately decides what to do. But our primitive brain is like, nope, we cannot feel the fear when we think, I dread sending messages. Don't want to feel this fear. We're probably going to die from this vibration in our body. So we need to run an errand. We got to abort, get me out of this fear. I don't want to feel this anymore. Got to go. Shannon, get in the car, get the keys. We got to get out of here. Right? And then your prefrontal brain's like, yep, sounds like a great idea. Let's get out of here. Grab the keys, get in the car, run the errand. Right? And you know you're buffering and you're like, and it feels so good. Yes, I feel relief. It worked. Awesome. We survived. And it's that false pleasure coming to you, right? And like you wrote it down in the planner, so you're going to see it again later. And the guilt's probably going to come when you are in another model thinking I should have done that. Oh my gosh, I feel so guilty. Now I better watch a show with my husband and avoid it again because I don't want to go back and feel that this time. Right? And so what I would love to see you be able to do, which I know you are so capable of doing, is allowing the urge without reacting to it. It doesn't mean that you have to send the messages. You can still not send the message, right? Again, this is thought coach Emily talking to you, not business coach Emily. Business coach Emily's like 3 messages a day, Shannon. That's what we need, sister. But like thought coach Emily just wants to look at your brain right now. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to process this feeling of fear that comes when you think I dread sending messages and I experience fear. Where do you feel the fear in your body?
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm really in touch that well. I really related to when you said,
yes.
Like,
what?
I said I really related to when you said, like, when you first, like, am I even having thoughts? Like, I kind of feel like that, like I'm kind of out of touch with myself.
Yeah. But that's okay. Let's
so
just guess. Like let's go to that moment today when you saw the you know, IPA written in your planner and you thought, I dread sending messages. And you're feeling fear at the thought of sending a message, right?
Yeah, I feel it like in my chest.
In your chest?
Like, yeah, like just kind of.
Okay. And is it fast or slow? The vibration of it. Does it feel fast or does it feel slow?
Kind of faster, I think.
Okay. Okay. So it's in our chest and it's fast. And this one, like, close your eyes. Does it have a color? When you feel fear, we know it's in our chest. It's fast. Does it have a color?
I'm not associating a color with it.
That's okay. It doesn't have to have one. Sometimes it does. And so every time that you think, I dread sending messages, and you feel the fear, what would be so powerful to do is for you to say, yep, and it's in my chest, and it's fast, and I'm noticing that it's there right now. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to feel it, even though I would rather just get in my car and go run errands. And you'll feel the urge to like go run errands, do laundry, visit with your daughter, watch TV, post on social media. And instead, what I want you to do is I want you just to sit there and be like, yep, this is what fear feels like. I'm feeling it right now. And you can even, in your planner, you could even write out little notes to yourself. What does fear feel like? Like, are my arms going numb and tingly? Are my palms sweaty? Is my heart racing? Identifying the emotion when it's happening to you, and then noting all the urges that you're feeling. I want to go run errands. I want to get up right now and I want to go put in a different load of laundry. I have so many things I have to do right now. It's crazy. So many things to be done. None of them IPA. All these other things are more important right now. And just write them all down. The urges, right? And there's actually research that shows that if you resist the urge 100 times in a row, you will gain power over it. And you won't take the action anymore. The buffering action. And for me, like when I hear numbers like that, I'm like, yes, tell me the statistics.
I was just thinking there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. If you yes. And you're not resisting the emotion. You're allowing the emotion. You're noticing it. You're asking yourself, where is it in my body? What does it feel like? Is it fast or slow? Am I having a physical response? Am I crying? Right? Allowing the emotion and resisting the urge to do something to stop it. That's where all the power comes to us, right? And sometimes we're going to be like, nope, I just need the cookie. I really need to go do the laundry, and we give into the urge. And then instead of like shaming and judging ourselves for it, we can be like, yep, that's what I did. And I love me anyway. And I'm totally buffering right now. And I'm buffering because I chose the thought, I dread sending messages. I dread sending messages, and I feel fear. And when I feel fear, I want to not do my IPA. I want to run errands. I want laundry. I want to visit with my daughter. I watch TV. I avoid. I post on social media. My result is I don't send messages. Right?
Yep.
Leah says there's an idea of how to track this with beads in a jar. I've done this before. It's so cool to see it in front of you. I kept beads in my pocket, and every time I had an urge, I'd put a bead in the other pocket. And then at the end of the day, I'd put it in the jar. I think it's called the urge jar. That is so cool. We got to do this together. Do you guys want to do this all together? The urge jar? Okay. We're just going to get some beads. Where do we buy them, Leah?
Well, you got to get something that you like. So it could be like cool rocks or pretty beads, like something that you really enjoy. Like
Okay.
April Hall did it too. She did it with like, I don't remember what she did it with, like little cars or something. I don't know, like Legos.
Okay.
It was Legos. It was Legos. So just something that you like.
Okay. Okay. And then you can just get like a mason jar or like a glass cup or whatever. It doesn't matter what you have, right? Some of you are going to like get extravagant, and we're going to be so impressed. Yeah. And then there's going to be some of us that just like find a cup, a plastic IKEA cup, and that's fine too, right? Like whatever you got to do. Okay. So take notice and allow the feeling and resist the urge. And every time that you resist the urge to buffer, it's a win, even if you didn't do your IPA. Right? Because so often what we do is we're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have this thought, and it's giving me this awful result, and I just don't know how to change it, and I can't get anywhere. Right? Thank you, Aubrey. And thank you. When we do that, we just continue to perpetuate the cycle. Right? And so this is like groundbreaking for you if you can focus on feeling and allowing the emotion first, and then resisting the urge to take action on it. And if you give into the urge and you buffer, beating yourself up, there's no upside to that, right? So just having awareness of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and being like, yep, I'm totally out here. And in order to cross back over, I'm going to have to be like, oh yeah. Cause like sometimes you'll be like in the car on the way to go to the errand, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm buffering, and I didn't even realize I did it. I'm like halfway to the errand, and I was supposed to sit at my desk and like feel the emotion. And I just like got up in this memorized model, like feel the fear and evacuate. Right? And you're like halfway to the dry cleaners, and you're like, crap, I screwed it up already. But instead of doing that, you can be like, oh my gosh, I'm buffering. So crazy that I did that. So crazy. And the way to get back is to go back into the fear and be like, I was feeling fear. That's right. Fear. What does fear feel like? I was about to send messages, and I dread sending messages, and I had all this fear come up. And as you're driving, you can process fear. You can process fear while you're doing that, right? If you catch yourself in the middle of buffering. Yeah. And then if your brain's like, go through the McDonald's drive-thru and get an ice cream, because that sounds good right now, you can just add that to your buffering list. Right? And you're like, dang, here I am again. You know? Okay, so that's what I want to, instead of like sitting here and like swapping your thoughts, which we could totally do. And it's so fun to like thought swap and be like, oh, we just need a new thought. Let's get a new thought, and we'll reprogram our brain, and everything will be amazing. Except I don't know why I can't stick to the new thought that Emily gave me. But it's because I buffer in that negative emotion, right? So if we can just learn to allow the negative emotion and resist the urges more often, then we're going to have more power over stopping buffering. And there might be some times where you're just like, I don't want to stop buffering. And that's fine too. We can do other things with you, but it sounds like you are ready to stop buffering from what you said to me. So that's why I went there. Okay. Thank you, Shannon. You're welcome. Okay. Let's see. Katie, you go next, Katie. Unmute.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
So, what all do you want to know?
I mean, what can I help you with?
Belief.
Belief. Okay. So, like, belief in what?
Mainly myself.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
So, I feel like related to Plexus, I think that it's the best company that's ever been made. I believe in the products. I believe in the testimonies. I believe in everyone who's been successful. However, I don't believe in myself as far as achieving all of that. I've had success in the past and had it again, and then kind of drifted off and lost it. And so that's kind of where I stand as far as I think it's belief within myself to achieve it.
Okay. So I'm just going to get nosy and not make any assumptions, because
Okay.
that is how we can best determine what's happening in your brain around these things, right? So can you tell me a story about the last time that you didn't believe in yourself? And it could be happening right now.
I guess related to Plexus, I recently signed someone up. I was really on that high that help someone, but then sent a message to somebody and they were really interested in a testimony that I posted, and I did all the questions and did all the follow through that I thought, and then it kind of just fell through. And then at some point I just feel like, well, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe it was my approach, or so I just think that it plays into the actual belief that I can do it.
So when you think about belief in yourself, what thought is most commonly going through your mind?
I believe I'm a good nurse. I believe I'm a good friend. I believe I'm a good person, but I don't know that I'm the best sponsor, I just don't know that I'm at the best at this position, though I want to be. I desire to help people.
I'm not the best at Plexus, or you said at this position. What position?
Like as a sponsor.
Okay. I'm not the best at being a Plexus sponsor, just to get really specific.
Yeah.
And you had this thought when you last messaged someone. You signed someone up, and then you messaged someone else, you gave them a testimonial, and then it went nowhere. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay. So you sent a testimonial with no response.
No, they messaged back, but it just kind of fell through. There were no follow through on their end, even after I followed up the next day.
So you sent a testimonial and they didn't sign up? Or
Correct.
what was the goal? What would have been, you sent a testimonial and you said, and it fell flat, but what does that mean? It fell flat.
Well, right now I feel like everybody should be crawling because there's $1 to sign up for, right? It's a $1 deal. and if I'm not able to portray that as of importance or of urgency, then I feel like then at some point I'm failing the other person by not showing them the worthiness of getting into our program. So just that conversation that we had, interested, gave them prices, and then it kind of like, that radio silence kind of thing. And I don't think our products are expensive. I think we have a great program and all that. So I believe in that. I just think maybe I didn't deliver something the right way.
So like they stopped responding. You sent a message and they didn't respond after that.
And I followed up the next, yeah.
Okay. And your thought was, just to be clear,
My fault.
I'm not the best at being a Plexus sponsor, or it's my fault they didn't sign up. Which one?
Well, I would say that I would think it's my fault that I deliver something in the incorrect manner.
Okay. So I did something wrong. Yes. I did something
Yes.
incorrectly. Yes. You said I did something in an incorrect manner. I did something incorrectly, right? Something's gone wrong. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And what did you make that mean about you?
Well, I guess, Emily, you're really amazing at what you do and you've taught us well, but if I can't carry out what you've taught me, then I feel like I've bombed it,
Mhm.
So I try to follow the pattern that you taught me, but sometimes I just fall flat on my face and feels like a failure.
So I'm a failure. You're making it mean that you're a failure when you think I did something incorrectly. I'm a failure. Yeah. Okay. So when you thought, you sent the testimonial, you gave product and pricing, you followed up and they didn't respond. You thought I did something incorrectly. And you felt what emotion?
Like disappointment.
And when you felt that disappointment, where did you feel it most in your body?
Gut.
Your gut.
My stomach.
Your stomach. Irony, isn't it? And was it like a fast or slow feeling inside of your gut?
Tight feeling.
Tight feeling. Tight. And did it have a color or anything like that?
I associate black with it.
Black. Okay. And when you felt that disappointment, you feel that vibration of that emotion, right? What did you do?
What did I do as far as the emotion?
Yeah, like what did you do next when you felt the disappointment?
I looked for more testimonies.
Okay. To send to her?
No, just to post and put out there.
Okay. What else did you do?
I ate a cookie.
Okay.
I'm being serious.
Yep. Did you enjoy it or did you beat yourself up for it?
I ate it and then beat myself up for it.
Okay. So like some self-loathing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then did you do anything else after that? Did you talk to anyone about it? Tell anyone about it? Message anyone and be like, no, you didn't message a friend or like phone a friend or anything?
I did not.
Did not? Okay. What, is there anything you did not do? Like you didn't do?
What do you mean?
Like, sometimes when I'm feeling an emotion, I'll avoid doing certain things. Like if someone sends me a message that's like really jarring to me, sometimes I'll avoid sending any more messages the rest of the day, or like my work will be done, or I won't post, or even though I plan to post and I need to post, I'm like, nope, can't post today. Any of that?
No.
Okay. Okay. And then did you like in the end, did you feel like you still did like you still came to the conclusion that you did it wrong?
No, to be honest, I feel like I probably did everything I could have done. It was probably more on their end,
Uh-huh.
but still leaves that confusing question. Why can I not get them to either be a customer or an ambassador? Why, what is it that I didn't portray correctly?
Like I'm not good enough at
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thought I did something incorrectly. Why are you choosing to think that?
Because I feel like we have so many successful people on our team
Mhm.
that learn and do it correctly and that have a lot of success.
Mhm.
And then there's me. I just
Okay.
feel like I'm not doing something right.
Mm-hmm. And like your brain is like so committed and has all the examples of why you're not doing it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So do you believe that you're doing something incorrectly, or do you see that it's just a thought?
I think it's a thought. I think I could probably better at what I do, but I think it's mostly a thought.
Okay, so you see that it's a choice that you're choosing the thought, I did something incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
And you think it's possible that you might have done everything correctly and she still didn't sign up.
Yes.
It's possible that you
It's
did.
possible.
It's possible that you did everything right. It's possible that anyone else could have done the same thing and the person still would have stopped responding.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's possible, how does that make you feel?
Like I'm not alone.
Okay. And when you think about like, what are some of the reasons why she maybe stopped responding?
Price.
Okay. So it's possible that maybe she stopped responding because of price. Any other reasons?
No.
No
I
other
feel
reason
like that's
possible.
I feel like kind of it. No, I left with open-ended questions. I, was very detailed, but not too over detailed. I feel like it was about the time that she asked me the price, and that was something she was considering, that it went down.
Okay. So obviously, I mean, what is it that you wanted to get out of it? Like the result that you want to get, like your result right now, I'm not good enough at this. Is that how that's not the result that you want to continue to get, right?
No, I really want to help people. Like I'd love for her to get on the products and be like, this is the most amazing stuff I've ever tried in my life. I feel so amazing.
Mhm.
And that'd be the result for her. And, she shares if she doesn't, but for it to change her life, that's the end result that I would love to see.
So can we make someone else be our result? Someone else's action be our result for
That's
ourselves?
a deep question.
No.
It's very deep. No.
We can't have anybody else in our result line except for ourselves.
Very true.
Right? And so it almost feels like you're setting yourself up for failure when in your mind, your brain's like, we're only going to be good enough at this if like what's good enough? Like in your mind, if you're like, if I was good enough at this, then this would happen. What's this? What would happen if you were good enough at this?
A growing, successful team.
A growing, and what does that mean?
That means I'd have people engaged who were interested in the products, who felt like they were good enough products that they wanted to share.
Okay. So you have to want to share. The products are good enough if people want to share them.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Have you
You
shared
like a good restaurant, you share it.
Okay, really?
I think so. You
Do you
like
have
food?
friends? Do you have friends that every good restaurant they've ever gone to, they share about it?
Not everyone, but a lot of them. A lot of them post on their stories the food they're eating, the drinks they're drinking, the towns they're in.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting how our
Vacations.
brains are like, they make these like black and white definition, right? They're like, if I was good enough at this, then people would share about it. Right? You froze. Can you see me now? Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You did.
Like,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
I can see
Like
you.
it's like our brains love black and white thinking, right? So we're like, oh my gosh, if I was good enough at this, I would have a team that was engaged and sharing. Right? But
Right.
if my success is based on other people's actions, how am I going to measure my own success?
Very true.
And so just one of the things that I want to point out here is that when we put our success in other people's hands, we're always going to be disappointed. Always. Right? Except for the times when someone is successful and then we take credit for it and we're like, see, I'm amazing. And we have this validation from outside of us. Right? But oftentimes when we have validation from outside of us, it's like that false pleasure. And that's why a lot of times you see people are super successful and they're unhappy because all of their stuff, not everyone, but some of their stuff is like wrapped up in validation of things outside of them. Right? So when you look at being good enough, let's put good enough in your result, right? What actions would you need to take every day or regularly in your business to be good enough?
Well, I think I need to continue to post
Mm-hmm.
and send messages.
How often?
I mean, a couple times a week.
Posting a couple times a week?
Yes. About
Okay.
Plexus.
How many times a week? 2 times a week?
Yeah, 2 times a week.
Post
At
2
least.
times
Yeah.
a week about Plexus. And how many messages do you send a day, a week about Plexus? How many messages are there?
Well, I respond to a lot of people who post on my I respond to my stories or respond to testimonies that I post.
Okay.
A lot of people box me, so it just depends on that. I know you want to hear at least 3 a day. I know you do.
No, that's business coach Emily.
Oh, that's business. That's business.
This
Sorry.
is thought coach Emily here.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry, yes.
I know. I'm going to wear this next time. I know. This is you and the actions you want to take. So
I'd like to
be good enough. I am good enough in our result line. How many messages do you want to be engaging with a week in your messages?
a week. if you did 3 to 5 a day, 21
Are we
message.
thinking like, are we looking at this as like number of people or actual messages? Because you said that like people respond to you and then it depends on how many people are like responding and engaging. So what I'm wondering is like on a good week when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm good at this. Are you actively talking to like 3 people, like 3 humans?
Yes, 3 humans.
Okay. So 3 humans talking with me back and forth.
Yes.
Okay. And then what other actions do you want to, are you taking when you think of yourself as I'm good enough?
Daily reflection.
Okay. Reflection time
Mm-hmm.
daily. Is that like spiritual, or do we have additional spiritual goals? Is that sort of like in the same box?
Just in same box.
Same box. Okay. Any other things there? I'm good enough at this result.
I don't think so.
Okay. And what feeling are we going to have to feel regularly to take those actions in that way?
What feeling am I going to have to feel to take those actions?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like I could totally do all those things if I felt this emotion.
If I felt, I don't know, Emily. I don't know.
I want you to picture yourself posting every day or posting 2 times a week about plexus, messaging 3 humans back and forth, taking reflection time. And like that version of you, we can even picture her like 6 months ahead, right? We can like picture her as like 6 months down the road. Like, what does that girl feel when she's posting twice a week about plexus, talking to 3 humans in her messages back and forth, reflecting every day? Like, what does she feel inside of her body to do those things?
Happiness, self-love.
Okay. Which one?
Happiness came to me first.
Okay. And what are you going to have to believe about yourself on the regular every single day to feel happy?
That I am worthy.
I am worthy of what?
Of all the good things. Of all the good emotions.
Let's
positive results.
Let's get a little more specific and think about it in relation to your business. I am worthy of what kind of a business?
Success.
I am worthy of success. Okay.
Yes.
I'm worthy of success. Now, we know that we might not be quite there yet at believing this about ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Because you said, I struggle with belief in myself. I don't believe in myself, right? And so when we choose the thought, I did something incorrectly because I don't believe in myself, and I make it mean I'm a failure, the result I always get is I'm not good enough at this. I'm just not. And there's all this evidence. There's all these other people that have the same training as I do, and I just can't cut it. Right? And you think that it's because you're doing something wrong. But the reason why you're not good at this is because you're believing that you're doing something incorrectly. Because when you choose the thought, I did it incorrectly, that's when you feel disappointment. And when you feel disappointment in your action line, you're looking for more testimonials, you're eating a cookie, you're self-loathing, you're not doing anything that helps you get better at this. So your result is, I'm not good enough at this. I'm still not good enough at this, because you're not taking any action, because you're buffering the feeling of disappointed, right? With look for more testimonials, and not even to send them to anyone, just looking through them, right? Eating a cookie, self-loathing, all those things are not, there's no way that those things can produce, I am good enough. And it's not because, like, it's because of the thought that you're choosing that's giving you the result, right? Do you see that?
I do now.
And so when we want a different result, we have to change the thought first. It's literally getting to the root cause. Like, that's what I'm obsessed with thought coaching about, because I'm like, it's just like what we do. Right? It's getting to the root cause of why our actions are all messed up. And we're not getting the result we want, because the root is the thought.
Yeah.
And when we get to the root, that's where we find the real issue. Now, we're not just going to be, Katie's not just going to like wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm worthy of success. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but it's not likely, because she's got this memorized model in her mind of I did something incorrectly, or I'm not doing it right, and I should be, right? And so in order to believe I am worthy of success, we have to like go up a ladder. Gonna have to climb a ladder to get there. And the first step of that ladder is allowing the emotion disappointed. Feeling it, identifying it, noticing it, it's here. And instead of eating the cookie, we feel the urge, I want to eat a cookie that would make this better. For me today, it was a chocolate covered pretzel as I read my course content, right? And I'm like buffering, yep, but I'm getting my work done, right? But it's in resisting the urge that we allow the emotion and eventually can let it go. Right? And if we don't give in to the urge 100 times, we will be able to stop buffering with the cookie and the self-loathing and all those things, right? And then we can just feel disappointment sometimes and nothing's wrong with it, right? And so then we can start to say things like, okay, I feel disappointment, right? Like I feel disappointment. It's here. I get it. It's just a feeling inside of my body. This is literally like, it's the worst thing that could happen is to feel an emotion, right? Like that's it. But our brain's like, and we're going to die. So we better eat a cookie and we better look for testimonials and we better do something else, right? So when we think about this ladder that we're going to climb up, and we're trying to get from I'm I did something incorrectly to I am worthy of success. I want you to imagine you're at the bottom of the ladder with I did something incorrectly. And at the top of the ladder, it's I am worthy of success, right? And we got to climb up the ladder, and we could this like here's an example. Like I hate myself is at the bottom of the ladder, right? And then you could be like, I'm a human, right? So instead of saying I hate myself, you're like, I'm a human. And that's a little more neutral than I hate myself, right? So I hate myself, I'm a human. And then it's possible that humans are worthy of compassion, right? So if you were like, I am a horrible Plexus sponsor, but I'm a sponsor. And if I'm a sponsor, sponsors are worthy of compassion because they can't be perfect all the time, right? And then maybe I'm worthy of compassion. And then I'm considering or thinking about that I might be worthy of compassion just because I'm a sponsor, even if I'm imperfect, right? And then I'm worthy of compassion for myself. So when you apply it to yours, I did something incorrectly at the bottom. You could be like, I did something incorrectly and I'm not perfect. And I don't have to be perfect to be good at this. And I can have compassion for myself, even if I'm not perfect doing this. And maybe I could be worthy of being good at this. And I'm considering that I might be worthy of being good at this. And I'm worthy of being good at this. So we just sort of like take it like one little stair step at a time. And I'll have the recording for you so you can watch this back, right? But like this idea of like ladder stepping your way to this belief that I am worthy of success, where you're like, I mean, I am an ambassador and I'm not perfect, but like I try my best. And because I try my best, I am worthy of compassion. And if I'm worthy of compassion, then maybe I could consider giving myself compassion around my imperfections or whatever, right? And then I could maybe one day be worthy of success. It's possible that I could be worthy of success at some point. And then eventually you get to this stair where you're like, I am worthy of success. Like I deserve it. And I'm going to have it. Right? And I'm all in for the disappointment, for the fear, for the self-loathing. Because like 50% of the time, I'm going to be self-loathing and guilty and might experience some shame, some disappointment, some fear. And the other 50% of the time, I'm going to be happy and excited and hopeful, right? And it's in feeling those and recognizing when we're buffering outside of the negative and being like, come on back, sister. And we like travel back through by allowing the emotion, the negative emotion that we try to buffer, we allow it and we get back over to the positive, but we don't get to be in the positive any more than 50% because it's always 50-50. And so when you're experiencing somebody not responding to you, you can literally just be like, yep, 50% of the time, here we are. I'm worthy of success, whether I did it right or not. Here I am. We'll get there. Because it's possible that I am worthy of success. And it's just recognizing where that's all, where the emotions are, where what they feel like when they're there, noticing them, right? Like for me, the work that I did around anxiety with this has been jaw dropping. Some of you, I've coached you privately and I've told you about Sarah. Sarah is the name I gave my anxiety because I wanted to get rid of her. And I said, I hate anxiety and I wish it was never here, right? If you're like, I hate feeling disappointed. It's an awful emotion. Yeah, I know. I hate feeling anxiety. And so in the morning when I would feel anxiety, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I hate this. Stop feeling it. Stop feeling it. Stop feeling it. Go away, go away, go away. And it just made it worse. And I'd be like, and it was like making it worse. Right. And so what happened sorry, hold on. What happened is that once I started understanding the work of allowing the emotion instead of shoving it out and saying, go away, get out, I was like, come on in. So every morning I'm like, eyes closed, wake up. Sometimes there's anxiety there. And when there is, I'm like, Sarah, good to see you. Good morning. There you are. And like at first, she was in a red Britney Spears jumpsuit. Red. The oops, I did it again one. This week, it's yellow. It's yellow. It was like when I hated her and didn't want her there, she was in red. And it was this fast red feeling in my chest. And now I wake up and I'm like, good morning, Sarah. I see you on the end of my bed. Good to see you. All right, let's get up and go together. And like almost instantly, it's gone. Right? Because I just allowed her to be there. And for some reason, giving her a name, giving her the red color, like 2 weeks of that, she became yellow. And I don't know why yellow feels more welcoming, but I'm like, can't wait to see you in the morning, Sarah. Counting on you to show up. Every morning, there she is. Rise and shine. Right? And so it's like allowing it actually like has removed the drama for me of it. So I'm just like, cool, let's go. Just get up, start my day. Bring Sarah with me sometimes, right out the door. Other times I'm like, oh, you're gonna go to bed now? All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Make the bed while you're at it. Okay, I got stuff to do. Right? So, okay, I hope this helped you. If you can stay on longer, I can do one more person. If you can stay on longer. Does anybody want to stay on longer? Or are you like, we got to end this, Em? We're done. Like, we got enough. Do we get enough? Do we want to just do it next week? Do we get enough? Nobody's raising their hand. We're done. Okay. I heal you. I need to go, but I love it. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. I will have the recording for you. You can encourage your teams to watch this so that they know what it's all about. And then let's just do this again next week. I know that Thursdays aren't always the best time because oftentimes we'll have like opportunity calls or things like that. So I might have to pick a different night each week, but we'll just once a week do this in August and see where it takes us. Okay. Bring people back, bring more people. All right. Because that's how we tell everyone and everyone gets blessed. Right. And how cool is it that you didn't get coached, but you totally got coached? Is this not the coolest thing ever? Yeah. So this is totally how I'm going to run my program when I launch it, because even if you don't get coached, you just listen and you get coached. It's awesome. It's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Shannon and Katie. We're so grateful for your vulnerability and your honesty. And I can't wait to do this again next week, you guys.
Emily,
Yeah.
there's a podcast for the Urge Jar, like a podcast one.
Cool.
So I'll send it in my team chat and you can send it to whoever you
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.